Hello everyone, I'm Immature Gamer and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today's video is going to be a tutorial on how I made my ultimate 1v1 arena map. I have been getting a lot of requests asking me to make this tutorial, so here you go guys. This is not a beginner's guide. I'm only going to be covering the more advanced builds like my interactive start timer. I will also be going over some of the most asked questions. Stay tuned to the end because I am revamping this 1v1 arena. I am adding a new shooting gallery, a sniper's warm-up station, edit course, and adding some of the newer weapons. I really want your feedback and I would love to know what you guys want to see in the next version of the ultimate 1v1 arena. So let's go.
Immature Gamer.
I really want to thank all of you guys for all the love and positive feedback you have been giving me for this map. I had no idea this would be so popular. This is my most liked YouTube video by far. I am pretty sure it helped me get over 1,000 subscribers as well. So just thank everyone, thank you. To get to the map, join into creative mode and head over to the featured riff area, interact with it, and enter the code 8403-9027-3298. Hop into the riff, and that is how you get to the island. Make note that this code will change. I will be updating this map soon, and I'll put the new code in the title and the description of this video. When I publish the new Ultimate 1v1 Arena, I will be making an announcement video covering the changes and all the new things I've added. So if you want to be the first to try out that new Ultimate 1v1 Arena, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Here are some timestamps if you want to jump forward. There will also be timestamps in the description if at any point in this video you want to jump ahead. Alright guys, so just go to creative. Hop into your server. Once you load in, right in front of you there is a riff, and I'm going to be talking to kind of the general audience, everyone. You might know a lot of this stuff and I apologize. I want to talk to everyone. So basically, as you walk up to your riff, you can interact with it. It's X on Xbox, it might be E I think on PC, I don't know what it is on PlayStation, but it kind of will tell you right up on the screen. You can interact with your riff. There is a bunch of destinations, a bunch of islands for you to build on, edit on, make your courses. I prefer the block just because it gives you a flat canvas. That's what I built this Ultimate 1v1 Arena on, so that is what we're gonna go with. So yeah, let's just hop into it. Alright guys, when you spawn into your island, it's obviously not going to look like this. It's going to be flat, and that's okay. That's why you're here. You're wanting to learn how to build something similar to this. Again, use your imagination. You don't have to build exactly what I have here. Let your imagination run wild. Let's just get into it. I want to say real quick, I am a console player. I play on console, but I actually build on PC. I find it a lot easier to build, for whatever reason, on PC and to play on console. I know I'm so screwed up, but forgive me. I'm actually recording this though on my Xbox, so bear with me. I'm gonna try to find everything and figure out how to do it with the controller. If you are brand new and haven't really built anything before, or even if you have, first thing I do when I start building a course or even start adding on to my course is I go into my inventory. It is the up arrow on your D-pad on Xbox and probably on PlayStation as well, and it's tab on PC. Go into there and look over everything, okay? Go to the gallery, see if they've added anything new. Go to the prefabs, go to your devices, see if they've added anything. And if they have, and you're not sure of what they do or how they work, just equip them and throw them on the ground and mess around with it. See what it does. Okay, you can always delete stuff. It's no big deal, but you should really learn about everything in your toolbox and what they do and how to use them. Obviously, that's going to give you your best result for the map you're making. Now, the first thing I do when I make a map is I add a player spawn pad. Now, most of you are going to know how to do this. I'm going to quickly cover this because it's going to segue me into talking about customizing different devices and traps. So anyway, to get there, go to your inventory, go to devices, go on down to player spawns and equip that. Okay, now To select it, it's kind of like in the game when you have to select your traps or a launch pad or something. That's where you need to go select your traps. My key bindings are going to be a lot different. I use custom key bindings, so these buttons might not match up to yours. Again, just look at the legend on the left. All those buttons there tell you what to do and how to do it. Sometimes they actually don't show up, and to get around that, press start or escape, press my island, start the game, and then once you start the game, quit and go back to the island, and those buttons should show up on the left. I don't know, there's some glitch or some bug with that, but anyway, that's how you get around that. Pick your trap, set it down. I'm not going to do it right there, but basically it will look like this. Now, pro tip, see this little, I don't know, metal piece on this spawn pad? Just imagine that as your back. So when I spawn into this island, I'm going to spawn in looking forward, okay? For whatever reason, that little mark there tells you that is the back. So Joe, that's just a little pro tip there. You know, if you set it, if this little metal piece is looking that way, you're going to spawn in looking this way, okay? So just something to note. I had to learn that. It took me a while to learn that. Maybe some of you knew that immediately, but anyway, set your spawn trap down, and then you'll notice it says customize. There's a little customize button. It's X on Xbox. I think it's E on PC. This is your friend, okay? These customization menus are your friend, and I will explain more in depth on other traps and other devices and why it's so important. Anyway, this is what mine look like when you spawn in. This one's for Team 1. I think on this map I have like 4 or 5 different spawns, just in case, you know, you and a bunch of your friends want to come in. It kind of all spawns you into the gun room, but I have this one going to Team 1. This is a primary priority. There's a bunch of different priority groups. I'm not 100% how they all work. I kind of have a gist of it, but obviously for Team 1, this is my primary, and this is the first person to spawn, and this is where you're gonna go. This is very important. If you want this player spawn to be the start of your island, you're gonna want to check this on. And if you want it to be visible during games, what that means is, do you want this little gray box to show up in the game, or do you want it to be invisible? I always make it invisible. I just think it looks a lot cleaner. This is kind of a cool new feature they added. If you go into your menu, go into my island, in the games tab, you will see a setting that says spawn location. While you're building a map, especially if it's a really big map, I think it's important to go to current location, and the reasoning is because when you're trying to test something that you've built, and when you start the game, wherever you're standing on that island is where you're going to spawn, and then you can just test it out and then you can go right back. So while you're building, I actually like to keep this at current location, but when you publish your map, you're going to obviously want to spawn at the spawn pads where you have your course starting. So just a little quick FYI. Let's just get into the course and what I've built. The start area is the gun, weapon room, health trap, explosions. It has everything you need. This is pretty easy to build. It's a lot of trial and error. There's obviously a lot of guns. This took forever. I have a bunch of item spawns, and it takes forever to do, but hey, you need all the guns for a 1v1 arena, so yeah. You guys can copy this if you want. I'm not gonna go over the exact specifics how this is all built, but how to do it, you just gotta go to your inventory, go down to item spawner, you equip it, you place it down, and then there's not gonna be a gun here. What you're gonna do is go back to inventory, go over to your weapons, you add whatever weapons you want to drop onto this device, go over to play, and where your guns will be equipped down here, you just drop them, and this item spawner will pick up that gun and it'll permanently be there. So when you load into the game, that gun will spawn in there. Again, every device you place, you're gonna want to go into customs. Okay, this is what my item spawner looks like. I have it respawning. I don't have random spawns on. Visible during game. Again, do you want to see that big metal square? I don't. I think it looks ugly, so I turn that off. time before first spawn, I have 1 second, so right when the game starts, it's gonna spawn immediately. Time between spawns, I have that 1 second, because basically if there's 2, 3, 4 people in the game, you all want to have the same guns. When you pick up this gun, it's only gonna take 1 second, and your opponent will be able to pick it up. I keep bonus ammo for weapons on. So that's what it looks like. That's what my item spawner customization looked like for all these guns, for everything. I had to edit all of these because that's the settings I think make the most sense. So anyway, that's how I do it. And that's just gonna be it for the weapons area. I know I said that this is going to be a more advanced tutorial, and I've been talking about a lot of beginner intermediate stuff. I apologize. I promise I'm going to get into that more advanced stuff. I wanted to kind of get a lot of this stuff out of the way, especially for people who are brand new and never built anything and they want to build something similar. So anyway, it's going to pick up. I apologize. All right, guys, now probably what you're here for. Let's build the 1v1 interactive starters box. Now, real quick, if you guys haven't seen my ultimate 1v1 arena video where I showcased all of this stuff and how it works, and I'll put a little tag in the top right, go ahead and check that video out. Starting off on this box, it's very simple. I'm gonna actually build this exact replica of this box, showing you guys how to do it. A lot of this is pretty simple. Most of the questions are how I made the interactive start timer. Now, it looks like there's some trickery. It's actually pretty easy. This is a music sequencer. If you go under devices, go down to music sequencer, they call it a trap. And basically you'll place it and it will look just like this. Now, you can kind of see this blue faint line going over. That's basically the play button, if you will. You can customize those music sequencers, and I will show you my settings and how I did that. But basically, on outside of the map, I set down these musical keys. Those are also in the gallery area. If you go down to music block gallery, I will show you this more in depth in just a minute, but I'm just kind of giving you a brief overview how it's done. You drop those down and you're going to pick these, I don't know, metallic blue, I think C major, squares major, circles minor. I don't know a lot about music, so just bear with me. I just kind of went based off of sound. So all of these are just C square, C major, and then the last part is a B minor, metallic blue, and then what is this, like a turquoise? But I'll show you exactly which keys a little later and how I picked them out. But you hit the music sequencer key, it activates the trigger, it does a little sweeping motion, and it runs over these keys. And that's how it's basically done. Now let me just go into the settings. This is my settings. I don't have it looping because I just want it to play once. This is my tempo. I think that is default. I didn't mess with that. You're gonna wanna mess with the length. My width is 28. Now, I put these keys kind of on the perimeter outside of the boundaries, obviously because I don't want you guys to see them. I wanted to look kind of clean for this particular arena, and I actually, if you're using the block, I put my boundaries on the whole outside of the block. So just if you guys are kind of doing something similar to this, you could copy these settings. If you do a width of 28, that will get you outside on both sides of the square, if you will, if that makes sense. I made my height 100 because I don't want to see this blue line. So that's why that's 100. Trigger type on, off. Zone visibility, you could turn that on. I don't know if you guys have seen people make Turtle War maps. Basically, it's a map where people are trying to simulate an end game with moving zones. There's a lot of videos out there on how to make Turtle War maps. But yeah, basically these are my settings for the music sequencer, and that is how I made the timer. hope you guys think that's cool. I don't know. I don't know how I came up with the idea, honestly. I just thought it would be kind of neat. So next up, we're going to recreate this whole box. I'm going to do this first, and then I will kind of go into how I built my shotgun warm-up area and the spectators box, and also kind of my more for PC players, but my aim trainer, shot warm-up trainer area, how I built all this. I will explain that. And maybe for those of you that don't know, the reason this is for PC is because these ballers don't have aim assist on them. So, you know, it actually, for console players, it could kind of screw up your aim because it's not going to kind of snap to the target. So FYI, if you're hearing me saying that, that's the reason why this is mainly for PC. You can use it for console, but anyway, I will explain how I built all that, and then we will get into the newer area over here, but you guys kind of maybe had a sneak peek or not, but I'll talk about what I'm building over here, and then also some of the newer additions coming. So I will maybe put timestamps up on the screen so you guys can skip around, especially if you guys don't want to see me build this starters area, or you maybe already know how. It is pretty simple. This is probably the most advanced portion of it. So let's just hop on over here, get a little blank canvas, and we'll start building that starters box. So now that we're over on this blank area, let's start building. For the starter box, I choose the color blue and red simply because the scoreboard trap has red and blue for colors, so that is why I chose red and blue. You can honestly make this with any colors you want. Basically, I think right when I made this map, they just came out with different colors. I can't remember if red or blue was already out by then or those are brand new, but I know they come out since then with a bunch of different colors. All right, let's move on over to your inventory. Let's go. We already have the tab galleries, and let's find red and blue. And if you guys are hearing music, that's because I used a little boombox, because this is kind of where you spawn in, right behind this wall. I don't know, I thought I'd give it a little ambiance music, but that's also under device tab. But let's just get started. So you're going to want to go to the obstacle course floor gallery to find the starter target area. All right, so we're getting pretty close to finishing up here. How to make the death area. It's pretty simple. I like to change the colors to make it obvious. And to make a death box, you just have to go to your inventory, go to your devices, go over to damage volume, Pardon me, I think you have to set a floor. Yeah, you do. So, FYI, let's set a floor. Now, you can mess around with your settings on these. You can make these damage traps basically invisible if you want. I want to make them visible personally. I turn off the base. I don't want to see the base of it, the trap. I do make the zone visible. Right now it's 1 by 1 by 1, which is perfect. That's what we want. It kills you. And I don't mess with any of this. I want to be able to kill either team, or either player. So yeah, this is kind of what I keep the settings at. And yeah, so after you've done your 1v1 battle, say you've won, but you took some damage, you want to reset. That's what these boxes are for. They'll kill you. Now, something I do in front of the blue and red side, obviously the damage trap, you're going to put one in here as well. Same on each side. I put a player checkpoint. And again, make sure that little tab is kind of facing the opposite direction of where you want to go. So when you spawn, you're going to spawn directly in here. Basically, anyone who walks over this spawn pad, that is where you are going to spawn if you die, right? So we're going to put one on this side. So when the blue player walks in, it's going to activate that. When he dies, he will spawn here and be ready to play again. And the same goes for red. He'll walk over this. When he spawns, he'll be ready to go into the red starting area. So those player checkpoint pads are kind of cool. They're definitely necessary for this. Now we pretty much have gotten this built out. I mean, you can make it look a lot better. You can put these up, just kind of make it kind of look fancy. Same with the blue. Okay, there you have it. We got a little fancy box. So yeah, now you can kind of add your scoreboard. This is kind of unnecessary, but if you want to add it, you can. So each side has one. If you put a floor down, obviously when you make your arena, you're gonna make a big floor. So it won't look like wood. It'll look like whatever floor you've chosen. So disregard that. But if you don't have any floor, it's automatically gonna place wood down for you. That looks ugly personally, but yeah. You could do that if that's what you want. So anyway, now that we are here, you guys are probably wondering, all right, I know how to make a freaking square box. I get it. Show me how to do that dang timer. Well, thanks for being patient. Let's do it. All right, first things first, you're going to want to get your music sequencer trap. Equip that up. So you kind of see when we run over it, you kind of see that clear box. Anything within this box is going to make that sound. We can adjust it, make the length longer. You can make the width bigger. We'll make it visible just for this, just kind of showing it off, make it easier to watch. Obviously don't want direction. And forward, because we want to play from here to there. All right, so we got the music sequencer down. You're gonna want to mess around with it, figure out which direction you're gonna want to put your music keys down, whatever best suits you. Obviously, if you make the big arena, and I showed you what mine looked like for my 1v1 arena and the settings, you might want to copy that. But just for showing this off, I want it in a small area. This is going to do. All right, let's get our music keys. So the kind of metallic C squared is kind of the starting sound I used. And you're gonna want to space them out appropriately. Obviously that's not spaced correctly. But you guys get the idea. You can add more to kind of give it a louder sound. And then I used, I think it's B circle. I also use one of these, I think it's these green. I don't know, just kind of give it a little more oomph. And that is basically it, guys. That's how I made the start timer. It's pretty simple, really. Obviously, I put this off the map, kind of out of bounds area, if you will, so you didn't see it. And I adjusted my timer so it would be in this play area. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. You just hop in your box. You're ready to go. Do your little 1v1 battle. And yeah, man, that's kind of it in a nutshell, guys. That's the 1v1 box. Not too hard, not too hard. Let's get into some of the most asked questions. So the most asked question, I think, is how I make this writing, how you make it transparent. I will show you guys real quick. It's pretty simple. Go to your inventory, go to devices, go up to the billboard. You're gonna want to equip that. You're gonna drop it. And again, customize as your friend, right? You're gonna want to go in there, customize it, put in your text. All right, now you got your text. You can change your size. I put it to center just because it's easier. I want my text centered. Your view distance. This is kind of cool, especially if you're making kind of a maze or you just want your text to be seen up really close. You can just give it a view distance of 1. So I'd have to walk up for it to pop up. That's basically what that means. Now, if you don't want it to drop, pick it up. And on the left side, it'll say drop there. You just turn that off. So it'll kind of stay in place. Now everyone asks me, how do you make it invisible? So go back into custom. Show border, turn that off. That's the main one. And then your background color, you're gonna want clear, okay? That's it, man. There you go, bam. Now, keep in mind, that border is still here though, okay? There's a border here. So I can't walk through this. I keep getting stuck, right? Because there still is a border. Now, I just remember that because, so for instance right here, I can't get out. See, it keeps stuffing me because there's a border here. I mean, if you don't jump, you can walk under it. But that's just something to keep in mind. You don't want to put a big text here and then people will get stuck. They won't be able to get out. So Just keep that in mind. Also, these texts, you have to see them from the front. You can't see them. They're invisible from the back. And again, you are stuck. So anyway, that's the most asked question right there. That's how I make my text invisible. You can mess around, but basically that is it in a nutshell, guys. Okay, now my second most asked question is, how do you make a barrier? Now, if you, for instance, say you're over here in this shooting range and you can kind of see these little barriers I've set up, you won't actually see these in the game. I have the visibility of them turned off, so it would look like nothing's here. And say you're in this map and you're like, all right, well, I want to use my shotgun. It will physically will not let you over here. This is an invisible barrier and you are not going to be able to get into this area. And I actually made this barrier around this whole map, okay, all the way to the sky. This is a barrier. I don't want anyone to get out of this area. This is the main 1v1 arena. You can also use this, for instance, I've used these barriers. I had an issue for whatever reason. If you go into here, if I didn't have this trap here, it would actually let you fall down. You'd get stuck in this void, right? So what I did so that you couldn't accidentally fall down and be stuck in here, I made this barrier. So it's invisible, you can't really see it, but it will save people from accidentally falling in there. That's one example I've used it. Anyway, how to make it invisible? You basically set down your trap, hover over it, pick it, and then right there it says barrier visible in game. I have it off, I don't want people to see it, but you can't turn that on. You can actually make it a certain color, right? I personally don't like that look. You can make it the base visible if you want to see that orange square so people know there's a barrier there. That's up to you. You can have it block bullets. I don't, obviously, because that's a shooting range. I want you to be able to shoot through it. And then you can change the width, depth, and height. I have the height all the way to the top. You know, something else you can do, instead of placing each trap and then editing each one like I did, which I didn't really have to do. So if you're making a barrier, you don't need to make each square have a barrier. We could edit this barrier and give it a width of, I don't know, 4, and it will actually cover across this whole thing. That'll save you a lot of time, honestly. I didn't have to go and do each individual one and then go in there and then customize each one. I did, like a dork. Don't make that mistake. You don't have to do that. There's obviously some circumstances where you might have to do that, but that is how you make the barriers. That's how you make it so people will not be able to go into the area, and you can make things look really clean. If you guys have any questions on how I've done certain things, just feel free to ask me in the comments. I will answer them. Hopefully I'm explaining some of this stuff right and I'm making sense. I'm trying to cut a lot of this down so this is not a super long video. If it is, I apologize. But again, any questions, write them down in the comments. No problem. Now let's briefly cover some of the other things I made on this map, just in case you were wondering. This is super easy to make. You're just gonna go into your galleries. I have the obstacle course gallery I think I used for this one, and you're just gonna want to set down a little triangle. You got your ramps, and then you're gonna want to go to your devices, put down bounce pads, and yeah, then you're gonna be ready to go. In the middle, I have bots. So under devices, go down to your little sentry bots. You can equip those, set them down, and they're gonna be facing this way, right? Because this means that's gonna be your back. You're gonna spawn in this way. You can set that up however you want. I didn't really mess around, but I gave them a pistol because I don't want them to kill me as fast. They have 1 health, so it just takes 1 shot to kill. You can mess around, but this is kind of what I have as their settings. And yeah, man, this one's super easy to build, obviously. For my spectators box area, is super easy. You guys you guys feel free to copy this if you want, but you don't have to, man. Make something cooler. So kind of an afterthought. I wanted an area for people to watch their friends while they battle, right? So it's super simple, just using bounce pads to get up. And now, lastly, I think right before I released this map, they came out with the ballers. They're brand new, and I was kind of thinking, like, man, how could I use those for kind of a shot trainer? I thought they would go well with the bouncers, and it'd make a good object to practice your shots. So I messed around for a while, and I kind of came up with this. So the back area, you just basically, you got a baller, a spawn. You're gonna want to put a spawn down, and then you're gonna want to put one of these bumpers. It's basically a pinball flapper, it's not a bumper. These are the settings, and what happens is the baller puts down, this bumps it off, it puts it on one of these speed traps, and you can adjust these speeds. I have it at low, and it pushes it into these trap areas, and once it's in the trap areas, it kills it. And then once the baller is destroyed, it resets. And so I did the same for these other two levels, but what I did was I changed the speed of these speed traps, or speed boosts, sorry. And that's how you can change the speeds. So I gave it 3 levels. I have these barriers, right? So one, the ballers can't get out, because you don't want these ballers to come flying into the arena. And 2, so people can't go in. And yeah, this is kind of what it would look like. And then lastly, I made another little same thing, but from up top, where it'll kick your baller down and it will bounce around freely. And that's what that one is right there. If you were to destroy this baller, another one would fall down and you would go again. So in a quick, really crappy explanation, that's how I made this. Feel free to copy it if you want, go for it. The last thing I'm gonna kind of cover is the updates I'm gonna be making to this 1v1 arena, and I'm gonna be re-releasing it. I've had some game setting requests, and if you guys have some, for instance, people wanted like redeploy in this. Unfortunately, once I make a game settings and I release it, I can't change it without having to give you a whole new number, which kind of stinks. So I kind of want all of your input now before I release it, so we get a polished product and we get something that everyone wants to use. For the glider redeploy, I kind of don't want to put that in, because you can go into the weapons area and you can equip one, right? You can equip a glider redeploy and you can have it. Just kind of like in the game. I'm gonna keep fall damage on. I know some people might disagree with that, but it's just more realistic. And the whole idea behind using this 1v1 arena is to get better. And you're not gonna get better if you're used to not dying when you fall, or not making sure you're doing the correct moves to ensure that you don't fall. So anyway, I'm probably going to keep that, just FYI. And if you guys can think of any other rules though, let me know. You might have better ideas and I would love to hear them. So that's just kind of an example of stuff I'm talking about, what I would love your input and feedback on. Now, stuff I'm adding right now, they've added these new shooting gallery bots, if you will, and I'm kind of wanting to incorporate them. You can kind of see I'm kind of added one just to kind of show off how this is going to work. I don't know what's going on with this guy. He should be moving, but I'll figure all that out. I still have not messed around with these brand new shooting galleries yet. I'm going to figure it out, but as you can see, this is going to be, I don't know, kind of a farm themed shooting gallery. I'm gonna have a bunch of moving targets. I'm gonna make this look a lot better. As you can see, I got some props that over here that I'm gonna be adding. There's more props too, kind of making this look better. But yeah, this is kind of a sneak peek of what's to come for this area. Now I've always kind of wanted to put a little sniper shooting area, kind of a sniper warm-up shot course. I don't know if it's going to be a course. It'll probably just be more of a standalone shooting area. I'll probably put that somewhere around here, and then, or even over here. And then I'm going to do an edit course, just something to warm up your edits. So basically all you have to do is come to this course to warm up. That's kind of my whole idea. I want to jump in here. I'm going to warm up on some 90s, maybe 1v1 with my friends, and then I'm going to practice my shots, then I'm going to start playing, right? So that's kind of my ideas for this map, guys. Let me know if maybe this is too much. Maybe I should just keep it simple, or what would you guys like to see, okay? And that's kind of it. Like I said earlier in the video, let me know what you guys would like to see in the next map update. What things should I add? Any weapons, structures, or rule sets? Just let me know in the comments. And that is gonna do it for today's video, guys. I hope you learned something today. Make sure you hit that like button, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I post a lot of content on helping you get better at Fortnite. If you want to play with me, I do a Squads with Subscribers live stream at least once a month, where it's a first come, first play basis. Basically, when I start the stream, the first people in the chat to say they want to join get to play. So make sure you got notifications on so you don't miss that. And I am Immature Gamer, and I'm out. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any new videos, and thank you for watching.